There are all sorts of sitcoms that have come and gone and left fans laughing all these years later, but one that no one really saw coming in terms of style and impact and comedy was that of The Nanny. Mainly because the premise, which the theme song tells you about every single episode, is a bit out there to believe. But yet, with the cast, and especially the star, they made it work, and it had an impact to this day. People are even calling for it to get the reboot treatment, as they still love it so much. But what are the cast up to now? Allow us to show you The Nanny Then and Now 2021. Number 9. Fran Drescher. Before her titular role on The Nanny earned her 2 Emmy nominations and 2 Golden Globe nominations, Fran Drescher's main claims to fame were her acting debut in 1977's Saturday Night Fever opposite John Travolta, and a small part in the mockumentary classic This Is Spinal Tap in 1984. Her most notable TV follow-up before her current role on NBC's Indebted was the TV Land original sitcom Happily Divorced, inspired by her split from her ex-husband Peter Mark Jacobson, who also co-created the series with Drescher in 2011, before she voiced Eunice in Hotel Transylvania and its 2 sequels. The year 2020 also saw Drescher star in the LGBT holiday Lifetime movie The Christmas Setup, and reluctantly put her Broadway adaptation of The Nanny on hold. However, fans still hope to at least see how Fran and Max are doing on TV one day. It can't be stated enough how Fran Drescher was the nanny, because her style and especially her voice went and delivered a memorable performance that helped the show last for 6 seasons. Think about it like this. If the titular nanny was just a regular down-on-her-luck person, it might have done okay, but it wouldn't have been as big of a hit. But because of the laughs and energy that Fran Drescher put into the character, as well as the chemistry she had with the rest of the cast, she helped make that show a hit, and we're grateful to her for that. Number 8. Charles Shaughnessy. British actor Charles Shaughnessy played Fran Fine's employer turned lover turned husband Maxwell Sheffield on The Nanny, his most recognizable role following an Emmy-winning stint on Days of Our Lives, which he would return to off and on in later years. People who grew up on Disney Channel original movies may also remember him as the fanged antagonist of Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire, which first aired on the children's cable network in October of 2000. And yeah, he honestly played a very menacing vampire. Who knew? Outside of his many subsequent stints in theater and with voice acting, the 66-year-old has reunited a few times on screen with Fran Drescher, appeared in TV guest spots and recurring roles in Mad Men cast or on Sci-Fi's The Magicians. He also played Prince Charles in a Lifetime movie about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, and his sci-fi flick Final Frequency with Stargirl's Lou Ferrigno Jr. released recently. His role as Maxwell was very well handled, and some of his lines are iconic to this day, including the various ways he would say or yell, "Miss Fine!" Sometimes it's simplicity that sells a scene. Number 7. Lauren Lane. Before Fran Fine and Maxwell Sheffield were married, competing for his affections was his business partner, Chastity Claire C.C. Babcock, played by Lauren Lane. She was previously best known for inheriting the female lead role on the cop show Hunter in its final season, and for a recurring spot on legal drama LA Law, before she was cast as the de facto villain of The Nanny. Outside of appearances on a Lifetime Network Nanny cast reunion or Fran Drescher's short-lived talk show, the now 60-year-old has only acquired 3 screen credits following the hit sitcom, 2 of which are short films made 18 years apart, as she has mostly kept busy on the stage. Lane is active on social media to stay connected with fans and the Nanny cast, such as with the virtual table read of the pilot that they performed in April of 2020. Some of you might be surprised by this, as Cece was absolutely hilarious on the show, not least of which was because of her constant back and forth with Niles, whom we'll get to, but sometimes things just go in a different direction, and she really did love the stage, so who are we to deny her that? Number 6. Daniel Davis. Although sure to participate in the Nanny cast reunion was Daniel Davis, whose character, the butler Niles, also shared an interesting romantic arc with Lauren Lane's C.C. Babcock, after initially starting off as rivals. Before gaining a following in the Nanny cast, the 75-year-old Arkansas native was well known among Tom Clancy fans for playing Captain Davenport in The Hunt for Red October. Daniel Davis also had a following with Trekkies after 2 appearances opposite the Star Trek The Next Generation cast as a digital copy of Sherlock Holmes villain Moriarty brought to life. Coincidentally, one of the Tony nominee's more recent TV guest appearances was on the final season of Elementary, along with AMC's sci-fi series Dispatches from Elsewhere in 2020. If we're being honest here, Niles was the MVP of the show for many people outside of Fran, mainly because, despite him being the British butler, he had enough wit and charm to fill his own show if he wanted to. You were waiting every episode for him to barb Cece, and it rarely disappointed. Number 5. Nicole Tom. Outside of playing the eldest of Maxwell Sheffield's 3 children, Maggie, Nicole Tom was best known as the eldest of the Newton children, Reese, in the first 2 Beethoven movies in the 1990s. Near the end of the Nanny's run, she would be cast as the voice of Supergirl on Superman the Animated Series, which she would also reprise in some Justice League Unlimited episodes starting in 2004. Tom would later play the relative of another DC character, specifically Miranda, the daughter of Peter Scolari's Commissioner Loeb on Gotham, which is one of many TV guest spots she has done since The Nanny ended. She most recently wrote and starred in the short thriller Blink, which was directed by her older sister, soap opera star Heather Tom. Number 4. Benjamin Salisbury. Nicole Tom played the on-screen older sister of Benjamin Salisbury, who was 13 when he joined the Nanny cast as Maxwell Sheffield's son, Brighton, in 1993. He made his acting debut a year earlier as the on-screen son of Martin Short in Captain Ron, a comedy also starring Kurt Russell as a dangerous man in an eye patch not named Snake Plissken, and later starred in the 3rd installment of the Mighty Ducks movies, D3, in 1996. For the Nanny cast virtual table read in 2020, Salisbury has not acted since his 2005 guest spot on CBS's Numbers and a 2006 Domino's Pizza ad. However, he still technically has a career in show business as Universal Studios Hollywood's Director of Operations since 2017. So yeah, he's doing good, we'd say. Number 3. Madeline Zima. Since starring on The Nanny as young Grace after debuting in the 1992 thriller The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, Madeline Zima has not exactly acquired household name status. Yet, from playing a victim in the 2009 cult horror film The Collector to a teenage seductress on Californication and small roles in David Lynch's Twin Peaks revival and the hit Netflix series You, one could argue the 35-year-old has led the most versatile career of any of the Sheffield siblings. Madeline Zima more recently appeared in the Oscar-winning Fox News expose Bombshell and the Amazon Prime original sci-fi film Bliss. She will next star in the upcoming crime thriller Marzipan, which is now in post-production. Number 2. Renee Taylor. Casting Renee Taylor as Fran Fine's mother Sylvia on The Nanny was a pitch-perfect choice, which the Emmy voters showed they agreed with by giving her an Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series nomination, her 3rd in total. Previously Academy Award-nominated actress, writer, and director, was best known for The Producers from writer and director Mel Brooks, or starring opposite Frank Sinatra in The Detective. Taylor would later have a recurring spot on her on-screen daughter's later sitcom Happily Divorced, played Ted Mosby's elderly next-door neighbor on How I Met Your Mother, and appear in How to Be a Latin Lover in 2017. In 2020, the 87-year-old actress reprised her role as Linda's mother, Gloria, on Bob's Burgers, and in 2021 produced and starred in the dance comedy tango Shalom. Number 1. Anne Morgan Gilbert. It was also inspired choice to cast Anne Morgan Gilbert on The Nanny as Fran Fine's chain-smoking, hopelessly senile grandmother, Yetta Rosenberg, whom Fran Drescher based off of her real-life grandmother. Gilbert was already a sitcom legend from playing Millie Helper, the next-door neighbor on The Dick Van Dyke Show in the early 1960s. Anne Morgan Gilbert even joined the Home Improvement cast for an episode in 1993 as Wilson's mother, fittingly so, and would later land a major role on HBO's medical comedy Getting On, and star in 2 episodes of CBS's Life in Pieces. Unfortunately, she was unable to participate in 2020's virtual Nanny cast reunion due to her death in 2016 after a long cancer battle at the age of 87. So what do you think of this look at the Nanny cast and how the show's stars have done after the series ended? Are you surprised at what some of the stars of the show did before and after the Nanny? Which of them were your favorite characters on the series? Are you one of the people who want a revival of the Nanny? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.